Oh, I'm tired.
Hi. Hello. Okay, so I just came up with a new idea, which was to tell you all about plays and musicals because she stars in them.
No, I didn't.
You were a flower.
I was a flower. I was a child.
Exactly.
And I was,
so you starred in them.
And I was in the intro.
Okay, so she didn't do the big roles, but she still starred in them.
Because technically there was no big role because everyone was. It was only one.
Well, okay, she still starred in them. So I congratulate her. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thanks.
So I did Spotlight for all of them. I think pretty much except for one of them. And one of them I starred in, but I played a man, so not many people realized it was me. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Fiddler on the Roof. We did it in our school. So, do you want to take this one?
Well, I didn't actually do it.
Well, I know, but you know the storyline.
No, I don't.
Okay.
My older brother does.
Well, I think it's Russians, right?
Yeah, it takes place. I know it takes place in Russia.
I forget the name of the town though.
I
But
don't
it
know
takes
if it
place
matters.
in a very Russian-sounding town. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. I'm horrible at pronouncing
We
it.
give you Russian vodka.
What?
Has strong kick, no?
Wait. Who's the main character?
Dude.
Okay, so
I
we
don't know the
exactly
storyline to this.
can't give you the storyline at the moment because
I
we don't know the names. It's a bunch of Russian names.
Everyone says it's good.
So pretty much, put it this way, a father and a mother have like 5 daughters, but the story takes place with 3 main ones, and it pretty much is him. Oh, Tevye. His name's Tevye, and he's the farmer, and he has 3 daughters, but as they're all growing up, they're supposed to be meeting their matchmaker, who sets them up, like in the story Mulan. That might help you if you're a Disney fan. So, catch me a catch, matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match through your book and find me a perfect match. Singing it manly, singing it girly, whatever. Okay, but so pretty much the daughters don't want to marry who they're told to marry. They want to marry the people they fell in love with. They don't want to marry some total stranger that somebody just says, "Oh, here, marry him. He's not too bad. He only gets drunk and will beat you every other night." And that's actually in a song. So,
Is it?
yeah. It's
Seriously?
Like, yes, it is in Matchmaker. It's like,
Are you sure?
mm-hmm.
Because Heva tried out for that, and she didn't have
He'll
to sing
beat you every night, but only when he's sober. So you're all right. Yep, it's in there. If anybody didn't know that, now you do. So, so anyways, it's a pretty cool story because as all his children are all 3 of the main girls, they're the eldest ones, the eldest, the second eldest, and third eldest. So, but as each of them is marrying somebody, he's forced to go against Russian tradition. So it's like he's learning that it's not all about tradition. It should be more about if you love them or not, and not just like, oh yeah, you're gonna marry this person because this matchmaker knows everything and told you to. So I really like it. The music's pretty good, but I've watched it so many times because of rehearsals. It's kind of just... And that's the ending. I won't tell you it because you probably don't want to hear it, but okay. So the next one, it's not a Wait, it is a musical.
Circus Olympus
It is
not a musical.
Yeah, there's song. Well,
Circus
no.
Olympus has no
It's
songs
not a
in it.
musical. They have the terrible rap. Okay.
That wasn't even
Anyway.
a part of the thing. We made that up ourselves.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not in it. I was on the spotlight. All right. Well, she's knocking my stuff over. No problem. Okay. Do you?
They're all the tax. Woo!
Oh, great. All the tax fell. Be careful.
Ah!
Be careful.
No, I get stabbed all the time. It's fine.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, while she cleans up, I'll continue. So, what?
Oh, I was gonna say Circus Olympus.
Oh yeah, Circus Olympus. It's not a musical. It is a play, but it's really interesting because it's more than one story. It's like a bunch of kids getting together, like in a playgroup. The geek Greeks, and they pretty much go out acting a bunch of different god stories, like
Greek stories.
Greek stories. Well, they all have gods in them. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
So like Percy Isn't it?
Not like Percy Jackson. It's actually Percy and Medusa. Like not like Perseus, like from like
Percy, the one who slays Medusa.
Yeah, that Percy.
There's also, what's the spider one called?
Arachne.
Arachne, who is like how spiders were
Yeah,
born,
that one.
and she
What is that
versed a god in silk.
one? It's not silk.
Put
It was a loom.
in a loom off.
Sorry, I'm very picky about my biology.
They also did a Pandora's
Pandora's box. That one was beautiful.
Pandora's box, which had a lot of pretty ballet in it.
It was dancing.
And dancing and stuff.
Demeter versus the Underworld, which is, you know, the one with Persephone.
Yeah,
Who was captured by
Persephone's.
Hades.
It's pretty much like he touches everything that turns to gold. That story probably
That's
sounds a lot
Midas.
more felt. Whatever. Okay, so this is gonna sound really off, but whatever. Just picture a bunch of Greek stories with gods in them, and you will pretty much have the gist of Circus Olympus.
It was really fun though.
It was fun. I got lost a few times, but
She was doing spotlights.
I feel like somebody's phone is going off.
That was a goose.
Oh. Alright. Well, now this is the one that I started in. It's called Wicked. It's slightly complicated to explain without giving a lot away.
Not really. It's about.
It is, but
it's about the relationship between the good witch and the bad witch.
It starts out with Glinda singing to the
good witch.
You don't need to know that. Everybody knows Glinda is the good witch.
Not everyone.
Okay,
They can be like,
Glinda the
Glinda.
Good starts out singing. And, like, she starts telling a story about Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch of the West. But the thing is that it all takes place because they're all in high school. Like, they knew each other in high school. The Scarecrow wasn't a Scarecrow. He was called Fiero. The Tin Man wasn't a Tin Man. He was called Buck, and that was me. The Lion pretty much is
He
the
was
same.
always a lion,
He was
except he
just
was
a
young.
cub. Elphaba was still green. She was just not considered wicked. Just
She was
people
born
didn't.
green, yeah.
People just still didn't like her because it was like, what's that? She's
You
green.
can read the
What?
story. Also, there's a
And
book.
Glinda was still as popular as ever. But I think it's really interesting because there's a lot of great songs and I fell in love with it. I love it. But there's a lot of great songs. Glinda and Elphaba were actually friends at a point. Weird, right?
Not at a point. They kind of stayed friends at the point.
Well, that's true.
Very end when they thought she was like, you know.
Well, no, because they didn't start off friends.
Well, no.
But, Bach, the Tin Man, is actually in love with Glinda the Good, and the Scarecrow is actually in love with Elphaba. But
Wicked Witch of the West.
the thing is that Glinda's in love with the Scarecrow. Complicated.
Fido, who apparently, before he was a scarecrow, was really, really hot.
Apparently. That's how it goes.
Well, yeah, I guess. Oh, and the Wicked Witch of the East is the Wicked Witch of the West's sister, which her
Right.
name is...
She didn't start out evil. She actually started out in a wheelchair. And she was in love with me, which was Bach, the Tin Man. And so, she was in love with me. But, so, she ends up... Elphaba tries to help her walk and turns her feet red. And she gets
turned her
mad
feet
because... no, she tries to help her, like, walk by making her red shoes, like, help her walk. She casts a spell on them. But then Bach tries to leave because she can walk again. So he wants to go confess to Glinda, but she gets mad, and so she ends up casting a spell, and to save him, Elphaba takes his heart away, which turns him into the Tin Man. And so...
You're not supposed to tell them how this all happened, you know.
Whatever, they're all gonna find out. But pretty much
Read
that's
the
the
book.
gist of it, and then because she feels guilty, she turns into the Bad Witch. The Wicked Witch of the East. And then she gets crushed by a house. You all know that from Dorothy. Or Wizard of Oz, Dorothy. Pfft. Okay. Sweeny Todd. Wouldn't recommend it if you're not good with blood, but it looks like soup. Honestly, it looks like just goop that I could literally whip up with like Kool-Aid. But maybe make it a little thicker. Just trying to make you feel better. But, or ketchup. That was a really good idea. I didn't even think of that. Okay. So, it's kind of complicated in a bit of a way to explain the beginning. Because Sweeny Todd, that's not his real name. His real name is Benjamin Barker. But he changed it because when he was with his wife in London, a judge was jealous, so he sent Benjamin away from his family and his daughter and his wife, so his family. But then his wife, I'm not going to go into that because it'll tell the story, but his wife pretty much stayed in London, and when he came back, he changed his name because he pretty much left Benjamin Barker behind. So he stops by this pie shop who's run by Mrs. Lovett. Mrs. Lovett is a strange one, but nobody really likes her pies. She actually calls them the worst pies in London. And so, pretty much, they start off, and it gets a bit gruesome because he wants to take revenge on the judge who did him so wrong. So he takes out his anger on anybody who decides they want to have a shave. Because when they come for a shave, they don't come out. And then Mrs. Lovett, the pie maker, makes them into pies.
Keep in mind this is all back in like old days.
Yeah,
so like
it's
when
like
they used
old.
the razors, it was like a actual like, it wasn't like electric. It was like a.
It was just like slit,
you
you're
could
dead.
be like, you know.
But trying not to make it too gruesome. But and then Mrs. Lovett would sell those pies, and they became really good, meaning lots of people were eating people. It's pretty much a cannibal movie.
Yeah.
And then there's also a boy named Toby who's involved. He becomes involved because of a contest, which is kind of complicated to explain, but he becomes involved and becomes like Mrs. Lovett's servant. As well as there's a boy named Anthony who falls in love with Sweeney's daughter, Lucy. Or no, Sweeney's daughter. His wife was named Lucy. But he falls in love with Joanna, Sweeney's daughter, and he pretty much takes her away from the judge. So I think it's an interesting one. I kind of hide a bit when the bloody scenes come up, but so you probably will too. Just make sure you remember what's happening. And the final one I'm going to mention is Repo. I recently just saw it. It's again like same as Sweeny. It's got like ketchup blood kind of stuff. But I really love the music. I find it really interesting. But it's called Repo the Genetic Opera. I'm not really sure where it takes place. I'm guessing like a bit of a futuristic thing because there's this company called GeneCo, and what it is it's pretty much just there's a guy, he makes the company, and like when you need like a heart transplant, they'll give you one because it's like genetic and like there's diseases going around, so they'll take things out of you and put them in somebody else, or they'll just put it in you. But what it is like if you do, you have to pay for the surgery in some manner. So, there's a repo man who comes for repossessions. Like if you can't pay, he'll come and take what they put in you. Like if they give you a spleen, he'll come and pretty much take your spleen from you, so you'll die. But he has a daughter named Shiloh. She has a blood disease that's at the time genetic, like it was transferred from her deceased mother. But she pretty much doesn't know about any of it, so the whole thing is pretty much about her learning about the outside world and how it's all messed up like that. Then there's the grave robber. He goes to graves and gets Zydrate, which is pretty much, it's like a numbing kind of thing. Like they shoot it in your anatomy, like with a vial and a gun, and you don't feel anything during the surgery of when they transplant or
so
give you stuff.
basically,
It's like a numbing medicine.
like they use for surgery for real.
Yeah, but it's like blue. It looks like blue Gatorade to me.
It probably is blue in real life. I'm just saying.
The owner,
like the medicine they give you to like numb you, so you.
I don't really want to know because I don't like needles. The owner of GeneCo also has 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter named, I think, Amber? I'm not really sure. It's either Amber or Ashley. I think it's Amber. Yeah, Amber Sweet. She changed her last name. But, He doesn't want to give the company over to any of them because they're pretty much all... One would probably kill everybody, the other one would hit on all the girls, and the girl would make herself the face of the company. So they're pretty much all disappointments in his eyes. So he wants Shiloh to take over. So he's actually in love with... he was in love with the Repo Man's wife before they got married, but she left him for the Repo Man. I forget his name, sorry. So he's taking revenge by trying to get Shiloh to, like, disregard her father and not listen to him so that she can take over the company. Pretty much. I don't want to give anything else away, or you'll know the ending. So, I don't know if you guys would be interested in any of those, but sorry about the explanations. I'm just getting, like, tired. So, some of the explanations probably didn't come out well. So, if you have any questions, comment below. And I'm sure Serena could help me with the comments.
Yeah.
Or we could always look up the names. Or you could just look it up.
Either way is good.
Yeah. I love how I explained Repo, like, perfectly, though. Except for names.
You did?
I feel like I did.
Sorry, I kind of got lost. I don't know.
Aww. Okay, so I didn't explain any of them perfectly.
Your videos are always so long.
I'm talkative.
Mwah.
Sorry, I should apologize.